Today, we're diving into an absolutely remarkable story of crisis management and foresight, all from an ancient text. It's about a prisoner, a pharaoh, and a plan that would go on to save an entire nation. So let me ask you this. What if a dream could actually predict a nation's future? And I don't mean just a vague feeling. I'm talking about a detailed forecast of economic boom and bust. Well, that's the wild idea at the very core of this story. So our story kicks off with a troubling dream. And at the center of it all is the Pharaoh of Egypt. You know, the most powerful man in the world, who wakes up one morning feeling seriously unsettled. Turns out, Pharaoh had two really vivid and kind of bizarre dreams. First, he sees 7 healthy, fat cows coming out of the river. You'd think that's a great sign, right? But then 7 ugly, skinny cows come up, and they eat the healthy ones. Then the whole thing happens again, but this time with corn. 7 full, healthy ears of corn get completely devoured by 7 thin, withered ears. In both dreams, the weak and sickly just consumed the strong, which just doesn't make any sense. It's a deeply unsettling paradox. Yeah, this was way more than just a bad night's sleep. The text says his spirit was troubled. So what does he do? He calls in the big guns, all the magicians, all the wise men of Egypt, but nothing. They're all completely stumped. And just like that, the most powerful man on the planet is afraid of something he can't understand, and his personal anxiety spirals into a full-blown national crisis. So, with all the experts tapping out, the solution comes from, well, the last place anyone would ever think to look, a prison dungeon. This is where we get to the forgotten prisoner's big chance. So, right when it feels like they've hit a dead end, Pharaoh's chief butler has this sudden flashback. He remembers a young Hebrew guy he met in prison a couple of years back, someone who had this incredible gift for interpreting dreams. And that man's name was Joseph. So Joseph is yanked out of the dungeon, given a quick shave and a change of clothes, and rushed in front of Pharaoh. And when Pharaoh asks him, hey, can you figure this dream out? His answer is just incredible. He doesn't take any of the credit. He just says, it is not in me. God shall give Pharaoh an answer of peace. I mean, the guy is just so calm, so humble, and he immediately points to a higher power as the source of the answer. So Joseph lays it all out. He explains that the two dreams aren't separate things. They're actually one single message, and it starts with some seriously good news: 7 years of plenty. You see, that number 7, it was the key to the whole thing. Those 7 healthy cows and 7 full ears of corn weren't just random images. They stood for a very specific length of time. Joseph tells Pharaoh, behold, there comes 7 years of great plenty throughout all the land of Egypt. So we're not just talking about a couple of good harvests here. This was a prediction of an unprecedented era of massive abundance for the entire country. But just like in the dream where the skinny cows ate the fat ones, all this good news comes with a terrifying warning. Now Joseph has to deliver the other shoe when he reveals the second half of the prophecy: 7 years of famine. And yep, you guessed it, that number 7 shows up again. The 7 sickly cows and the 7 thin ears of corn, they also represent 7 years. But these years, they're gonna be drastically different. And the severity of this is just staggering. Joseph says, all the plenty shall be forgotten in the land of Egypt, and the famine shall consume the land. Think about that. This isn't just a drought or a tough winter. It's a catastrophe so total, so all-consuming, that it would literally erase the memory of all those good years. But here's the thing. Joseph doesn't just drop this prophecy of doom and gloom and walk away. He immediately pivots from diagnosis to prescription. He offers a detailed, practical, step-by-step plan to save Egypt. And the strategy he lays out is just brilliant. Step 1, find one smart, capable person to lead the whole operation. Step 2, put together a team of officers to organize everything. Step 3, and this is the core of it all, collect a fifth, just 20% of all the food produced during those 7 good years. Step 4, store all that surplus grain in cities all over Egypt. And finally, step 5, guard that food like it's the nation's lifeline. It's simple, it's doable, it's genius. So you have to wonder, right? How does the most powerful man on earth react when a prisoner not only interprets his dream, but also hands him a national salvation plan? Well, Pharaoh's response is immediate, it's dramatic, and it's about to change Joseph's life forever. Pharaoh literally turns to his advisors and says, can we find anyone else like this? A man who has the spirit of God in him? I mean, he is just completely blown away.
He instantly recognizes that the wisdom he just heard from this prisoner is something he can't find anywhere else in his entire kingdom. And Pharaoh doesn't waste a second. He looks right at Joseph and says, "See, I have set thee over all the land of Egypt." Just like that, in one single moment, the prisoner from the dungeon is made the second most powerful man in the entire nation. And this wasn't just a title change. Nope. Joseph got the whole package. He got Pharaoh's personal signet ring, which gave him authority. He was dressed in robes of fine linen, showing his new high status. A gold chain was put around his neck as a mark of honor. And he even got a new Egyptian name. This was a total transformation, from forgotten captive to the ruler of Egypt. So the big question, did the plan work? Oh, you better believe it did. During those 7 years of plenty, Joseph put the plan into action. The text says he gathered corn as the sand of the sea until he left numbering, for it was without number. They stockpiled so much food that they literally lost count. It was an unimaginable amount. And then, right on schedule, the good times ended and the famine hit. But because of Joseph's plan, Egypt was ready. When the people started to panic, crying out for food, Joseph just opened up the storehouses and started selling the grain. The plan was working, saving the entire nation from starvation. But the ripple effect was even bigger than that. You see, the famine wasn't just in Egypt. It was everywhere. It was sore in all lands. So what happened? People from all the surrounding countries started flooding into Egypt to buy grain from Joseph. His foresight didn't just save his own nation, it turned Egypt into the breadbasket for the entire world. Which really leaves us with something to think about. This whole story started with a terrifying crisis, a vision of national collapse. But through insight, careful planning, and bold leadership, it was transformed into an incredible opportunity. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? When does a crisis stop being a crisis and become an opportunity?